Hello, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm working on a traveler's notebook layout that I titled Breakfast, and I'm using the digital scrapbook kit canned by Melissa Bennett, which is from Sweet Shop Designs. This is also based on a template that I share as freebie on my blog, MistyHilltops.com. There's a ton of freebies. They can be used for traveler's notebooks, or they can just be used on a normal scrapbook page, so it doesn't have to be a traveler's notebook, because the way I scrap traveler's notebooks is different from the traditional way anyway. So here I am just arranging everything to go across the two pages, and I realized in the end that it did turn out a little different than my template, because I had kind of the wrong placements of things. It's not like bad anyway, that the page turned out fine, but it wasn't exactly the way that I had planned it or wanted it. With like, there will be two strips that go across the two pages, and I wanted them to actually go hiding behind other elements, and now they didn't really do that. But again, it's just a small thing, and that's one of the experiences with scrapping. It's sometimes things don't turn out the way that you had originally planned, but it doesn't mean that it's something bad. It's just different, and that still is all good and all okay. So here I have these different layers of papers, and I'm starting with the one cluster there in the top left. As usual, I have run a card along the edges of all my papers except the circle, because that's a circle die and pops just fine. But with everything else, I try to distress the edges. There are distressing tools, but I find just a simple card, like with a plastic, like a credit card. Obviously you wouldn't use a credit card for it, but like gift cards or something like that works just fine to distress the edges just enough so that the papers pop off the page a little better. This is important on all my pages. I find I would not want to go back to not at least distress the edges. I have some scrapbook pages where I haven't done it, and it's a big difference the way it looks. It looks much flatter without it, and more dimensional if you add the little distressing around the edge there. So here I have these two paper strips, and then I realized, well, I wanted it to go behind that little paper, but now it's not going to be fully all the way it's placed. It's not going to be all the way covered. So here, this is where I'm discovering it, but that's fine. Again, and like I said, it doesn't mean anything is wrong with the page, or it turned out more ugly in any way or anything. So it still works just fine. So again, I'm just I want to make sure that to tuck it behind there. So I made sure when I glued it on that the glue didn't go all the way to the edge of that paper, just so that there is. I can tuck it underneath there. And then, but here I have to really pay attention to the layering, which layer comes first, which comes next, so that I don't glue something down and then realize, oh no, something should have gone behind, which, if you know me and if you followed me for a little while, you will know that it happens frequently, that I mess up the order of things and I don't get it right the way, and then I just play around and deal with it. And usually, like, by the end, when the page is done, no one would know the difference anyway. And I would probably, in just 4 weeks, I wouldn't know the difference anymore. So that's all fine. I'm learning to let go and let things just happen the way they go, and to realize it's not all that bad. I'm a perfectionist in many ways, and so that is just teaching me something about life, that it doesn't have to be perfect, and it still can turn out very nicely. So anyway, I'm finally ready to glue the photos onto the page, and then I can start the embellishing. And I like to do the embellishment around the photos there, and like to create clusters of like three kind of clusters. Sometimes I'm not too picky about that it has to be that way, but I try to follow it loosely. So here I have the title. I just used a tiny label there with one of my dies, and then I just stamped the title on there, and I'm trying to decide where I want the title and how I want it. I change it up a little in the end, but here I'm just starting to glue things down, and I'm starting from the center there where that cut is between the 2 pages, and I will cut the 2 pages apart obviously at the end. And so just to start from the center there, from that edge, because then everything will fit just fine. So here's where I decide I will put the rest of this title on there underneath that other photo there, rather than having it go across the 2 pages. I also have to pay attention. The way I do it is usually I have I put 3 holes for just a ring kind of binding, and so if I put it smack center, the hole will go right through there, through some of the letters. So I try to not have it in the center, obviously, where there will be the holes. A lot of times the holes do go into stuff that is part of the page, but that's okay, I can live with that. So here I'm trying to decide where do I want my 3 flower clusters, and I had a lot of fun with these flowers. I actually made some videos, tutorials, I guess, on how I create these flowers. They are from die cut sets. I just recently got these die cut sets, just flowers, and I've been having so much fun with them because they've started to look a lot more realistic than the other flowers, the older flowers I've been doing so far, where I just use just simple cardstock, just plain colored cardstock. But instead here I just die cut these flowers from white cardstock, same cardstock as the background of the page there, and then I use watercolor to color it, and I love the effect of it, and the way these flowers look a lot more realistic and make the page come a lot more alive. It's not even super realistic, it still looks artsy, and that's kind of the look that I like to achieve here. I don't care that it has to look like real flowers, really. So anyway, here I am adding, I have some other embellishments that I'm adding here, like that little sandwich, bitten into sandwich there. I'm not sure if you can even see it, but in real life you can actually recognize what it is. So there's all these little pieces and parts. There's that breakfast, egg and bacon that goes, because the whole theme of the page is breakfast, and the kibbutz where we were staying, we were having being served breakfast there every morning. So that was fun, and it's a fun memory to put on a page there. This is from my Israel 2019 trip, and so there are all these experiences that I wanted to obviously remember and put into an album to remember it. Then I have my word strips, and these word strips I create and just print them on heavy cardstock, then just trim them by hand or with my trimmer, and then use them on my pages. And I have a whole bunch of them as freebie already on my blog, mistyhilltops.com, so I recommend you go check it out. Everything on my blog at this point is free. At this point, why I'm saying that, because I'm not planning on ever selling anything. So there's scrapbooking kits, there are a whole bunch of things, different things. So if you're interested, go check out mistyhilltops.com and check out the freebies that are there. So here I am finishing up with that last little cluster there. It has one larger flower and then 2 little flowers that I arrange randomly around it there. And I don't even know what that other little circle there, I can't even see it anymore what it was, but I'm sure, oh yeah, I think it said yum. I added that. It comes from one of my this circle that I'm gluing down right now. It just says yum there, and comes from my food stamp stash. So this is my 2 pages done. All I need to do is then cut it apart. For that I flip it around so I can see the line at the back side there. It helps me keep the cut straight. So anyway, this is my page done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.